All right, this is Roddy Radio, and this week's episode is a little bit different. I'm actually just going to go ahead and show you an Instagram live that I just did with Mosy from the Heart Event Center. Mosy recently posted some information about why the Heart Event Center has not been putting on shows for a couple of months, the pushback he's been getting from the city of Idaho Falls. After that, I've heard a lot of people wondering what he's talking about, what kind of pushback, what kind of hoops he's having to jump through. Some people wondering why he just assumed that what they're saying is classism and not just, cut and dry, this is what you need to do. So I decided to give him the platform to go through the timeline and tell us exactly the kind of pushback he's been getting. He's helped out a ton of artists. He's helped out Roddy Radio Podcast. We've done some of our best episodes there at the Heart Event Center. We've gotten a lot of ties. A lot of the bands that play there have been on the show, a lot of the performers. So we need to help this guy out as much as we can. Listen to this, share this with your friends, and of course be on the lookout for everything. He's going to need a lot of our help so that we can continue to have the Heart open here in Idaho Falls. So check it out, and next week we'll be back with a more normal episode.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Just I'm recording at high quality on my machine too, just so we can put it out tomorrow also, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Let's see.
How have you been?
Doing pretty good, man. It was a good holiday. How was your holiday?
Mine was crazy. I lost about an hour and a half of New Year's Eve, and so.
You lost? What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't remember it at all.
Oh, that sounds like a good New Year, if anything.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
Hell yeah, man. That's good. Good to hear. I just wanted to get on to ask you stuff because you're really causing an uproar after you posted your shit.
Yeah, I've seen that. It was actually, so when we were going in, because Emily from Pocket 8 did the video, and we were going in, I told her, I was like, either this is going to be like really important or super cringy. There's no in between at all.
Well, I think either way, whether people think it was cringy or whether it was cool, either way it got what you needed, was just some attention to it.
And it did. Yeah, we had a few people reach out. We had a couple people on the city council reach out, and I got a legislator friend who reached out, and then a couple businesses reached out as well. Then also we got some artists who have stepped up and want to help finish the work once our plans get approved.
Hell yeah! So it definitely caused enough to where like they're actually working with you then.
Oh yeah, the text I got this morning was let me know. It was basically let me know anything that happens with the building department who we're dealing with, and that was from some city officials.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I think, and we'll just open it up for some questions if anyone's watching this live, but also just because I did hear some of the things I heard were, like they were people that did think maybe the video was a bit cringe, or they thought like the one I heard was they just had a issue with you with the caption saying, calling you poor when the lady said that you're an amateur developer. And so...
Oh, yeah. So that was my call. I told Emily to do that. Reason being is because I'm used to isms.
Yeah.
My whole life I've been used to isms. And that's exactly what that is. Because the thing is, we're working with a professional architect firm. Like, this is what they do.
Okay.
And so, the thing is, we just don't have the money to back things up and say, like, hey, like, we're bringing in this much money. We'll be dealing with this. We'll be dealing with that. We just don't have that backing, and we also don't have the backing to survive jumping through the hoops that they kept on changing. And so when she said, when you're an amateur developer as opposed to a professional developer, all you're really saying is you don't have enough money to jump through these hoops.
Yeah,
that's all that is.
Yeah,
because the fact that and Melissa actually made a good point on this. The fact that they have a term amateur developer as opposed to professional developer, tells you that there's a discrepancy there where they're basically saying this is a different process for you than it is for them because they have more power and money. When in all reality, I'm not a real estate developer. like like
Yeah.
and so we're just a business trying to make a building work when all the chips are stacked against us at this point because it's taken 4 months 4 or 5 months to get this done when it should have been weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, that's the way I would have taken it as well, just because it is, because you're seeing other people get help, and why would they not want to help someone that's not a professional? Like, if anything, there should be
Yeah.
more resources for the amateur, quote unquote.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's harder for us just because we're not professional developers and we're amateur developers. We're not developers. We're a small business, a community-driven small business that literally just wants to use a building.
Yeah.
it's if we were an amateur developer, if we were real estate developers, maybe I would have a different reaction.
Yeah,
But
you
I'm
would
not
kind of
that.
if that's what you were trying to just develop this property, you would take that on the chin and say, you know what, you're right, I got to learn. But that's not,
Yeah.
Why would you want to learn how to develop realty if that's not what you're going to continue to do after this?
Exactly, and the fact that it's not like we're doing this alone. We've been working with professional architects that have worked with the city before. So, and they are having and that we are fighting these issues with them.
Yeah.
So it's really not like us pointing out that you're basically calling us poor by saying that is because that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying we don't have enough money to jump through your hoops, and that's what you're saying. We have an architect that I've talked to every day for the past 4 months. Once they told us we had to get an architect, we got an architect just
Yeah.
like they told us, and we've been figuring it out with them. This is their job. They are professional architects, so them calling us amateur developers is also calling them amateur architects, and that's not cool.
That's right. Yeah, because they are definitely professionals. They know what they're doing, and they've done it before with the city, which is which is what makes you assume that it is, if not racism, classism, which is a huge problem.
Exactly.
I've always said it's a huge problem. It's a huge.
Yeah, that's the ism I'm talking about. I'm not talking about racism at all. I'm used to all types of isms. This is classism.
Classism.
Yeah.
Classism is huge in Idaho Falls.
Yeah, and like it really was crazy because if you would have been there, there were 5 awards given to community people. Like 2 or 3 of them were music-based awards, which I'm completely supportive of those programs, and I think those programs are great. But they traditionally don't serve the same people we serve.
Yeah,
their choirs, their solo instruments, things like that, which is great, but they're completely missing the whole group of people who come to the heart, the whole group of people who practice in their basement as band and or solo acts, and they need a space to go perform because a choir's not going to put on Oblivion. A choir's not going to put on 16 Candles. Like that's just not going to happen. Nobody's throwing that show with the choir.
And I mean, and it's just it would be super ignorant of anybody to say, that one music is, more genuine or more important than the other, because definitely that it's like you said, especially where you're so community driven, it's like, let's keep these kids off the street kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is a big part of what you're trying to do. And for them to not want to help out with that, it's like, come on, guys. Now, and I mean,
and to be clear, we have had a city council member helping us out through this process for the past 2 months almost, which kind of tells you it's kind of crazy that you got a city council member already helping you out, and we're still running into the same troubles, and they're just as confused as we are. So like that's a big deal.
Yeah, because it's been way too long. When I think it was maybe November when we did when you were nice enough to let us film the podcast episode with Addie Faith, there at the heart, and you I think that's when your problems were beginning. That's when you told me about some of
Yeah,
this.
so
And
they've been the problem began basically the moment we stepped into the space. And I could give the whole timeline. I have no problem doing that. But we got shut down. Shut down. November 9th was the last show we were allowed to do. And the day before my birthday, and it was a drag show that went extremely well. And it's crazy because
shit, I think I lost you for a little bit there. Hopefully you come back in.
hey, you lost me.
Yeah, I think the government's shutting us down because I've never once had an issue. I've never had a live crash.
Hey, yeah, see, something in the air, something in the air.
It is getting weird. Now you were talking about when you first. I think that's what I want to get into is like a timeline, because that's, and the question that was on here right before it crashed was a person was asking about, how you mentioned there was new information that should have been given 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Just what I was saying was just, the last time we were there, then we went back in December. I figured you were closer to getting resolved and you were just losing it. You were not anywhere closer than you had been, a few weeks before. So I guess I think that's what everybody wants to know is the timeline of what happened and what's going on.
So we've been in this space for like 4 or 5 months. Initially it started with us wanting to hold a few events with alcohol. We go into the space and we start throwing concerts. Everything's going really well. Then we put, and keep in mind there was a business there selling alcohol prior. And so we were like, oh, so it shouldn't be an issue. Landlord said it shouldn't be an issue. We should be good. We start throwing shows going really well. We put in for a permit to have alcohol at an event. Then they deny it instantly, and the city denies it, and we're like, why? There was already alcohol being sold here, so why are you denying it?
Yeah.
Then they came in, fire department came in and was like, we have no records on this building at all. And we're like, okay, well, get some records. that's your job. Like, and then they're like, you need to talk to the city, the building department. Actually, initially, our landlord said he was going to handle it, and then we checked with them multiple times a week, and it wasn't handled. About a month and a half in, we were like, you know what, I'm just going to do this myself. And so we hit up the building department. We're like, hey, what do we need to do? They come in and they tell us, oh, everything looks pretty good. You should be fine. This should work great. All we need is the dimensions of the building. And they're like, well, actually, they said we may or may not need the dimensions of the building. A couple days after that, they say we need the dimensions of the building. And so then we're like, okay, cool. What's the process for that? They say get an architect. We shop around for an architect. We actually found the architect that started the original plans for the prior business to make it easier. So we got a hold of that architect. They gave us the plans for it, and then the current architect redid the plans so it reflected what we're doing. And then we inputted that. Then after them telling us that's all we needed to do, that's not all we needed to do.
Yeah.
They had a few comments on the plans, and they're like, okay, if you want this space to work like this, you have to do this and this. And we're like, all right, those are easy things. We can do that. We did those things.
And so these things were like building or fixing this or that, or?
Yeah, it was like put a door here, fix this, and it was like, all right, cool. So we fixed it, and we put it into the new plans. Plans get denied again, and then we're like, okay, why are you denying our plans again? You have to do this, this, and this. And we're like, okay, cool. I guess we got to do this and this and this. At this point, the architect's like, this is not how this is supposed to go. I don't know what's happening. Because the way it's supposed to go is you put in your plan, they give you all the comments, and then they approve your plan after you fix your plan. Then you make the changes. So we do that we go through that process like 4 times. Always new comments. We had to deal with parking. The people to deal with parking were great, and the fire prevention team was also great. They did work with us. They were cool. Finally, when we're like, okay, Fire prevention comes in and they approve us for the two events. One being the drag show on the 9th, the other one the election party. They approved alcohol for those two. They approved events and alcohol for those two events. On the 8th, we had a concert. I don't know if you were paying attention at that time, but we had a concert that we held at the gym.
Oh yeah.
And they it was one of the concerts we did at the gym. We did that because they said we couldn't have a concert there, even though we were having two events that same week at the Heart. So we're like, hey, like, why are you approving these two events but not this event? The concert won't even have alcohol, so I don't even know.
Yeah, what was the difference? Yeah, what makes one thing available and not the other?
And they said, oh well, you have to operate at a capacity of 50, and I was like, okay, we can do that. We'll cut it off at 50, no problem. But they said no, if you do another event here at all, any event, we'll put a stop use on your business, and you'll get fined. And so we're like, okay, so we can't do events now. And then we're like, well, this shouldn't take long because we're working with the architect and we're waiting to get the plans approved. So we should be good.
Yeah.
Put in new plans. 2 weeks. It took over 2 weeks most of the time for us to get the plans back, and it was just with more comments. And this was all going off of the basis that the building department told us we could have a capacity of 150 in our main space, the event space, right?
Yeah.
So we did probably 4 to 5 plans based off of them telling you you won't need sprinklers if you keep it under 150. So we're like, all right, cool. So and architect understood that because that's what they told us. And then we kept on back and forth, put in the plan, denied these comments, put in the plan, denied these comments. Finally, it got so crazy, I contacted the city councilman, and the city councilman helped me get all the departments involved on a phone call. At this point, this is after Thanksgiving at this point. So this is already 3-4 months in.
Yeah.
And then so I get everybody on a phone call, and it drove me insane. Started out with them saying, "So Mosy, what's on your mind?" And I said, "What do you mean what's on my mind? I need to open my building. Can I like tell me what I need to do?" And then they went around in circles. Basically, you can tell that they weren't communicating. The different departments weren't communicating at all because they were all going over things that we had figured out weeks ago. So then everything stopped, and then the fire prevention, who was the only one who's given us any good information, he stops and goes, "Why are we having this conversation? The way that this should work is you should put your plan in. They give you the comments. You redo the plans, and then you do the work, and we inspect." And I was like, "Yes, that is what should happen." But that's not what's happening. And then he goes, "You know what? Let me tell you this. Get your capacity to 100, and then you won't need sprinklers." And I was like, "Wait."
Yeah, that doesn't make.
I thought
it was 150, right?
Yeah, we were like, the building department's been telling us 150.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then the building department was like, and then so that right there made every plan that we had done up to that point completely pointless.
Yeah.
And so keep in mind, the architect, who is a professional architect, quoted us $2,000 to get this job done because they're like, you know what, this isn't going to be a big deal at all.
Yeah, now
we're at around $7,000 with the architect. So a project that the professional said this should only be about $2,000. We're now at $7,000.
More than 3 times as much. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that we need to pay the architect because they were giving us false information for months.
These prices keep increasing, and you're still not able to put on shows to do your business so that you can make money to pay these things. So
exactly. And it's one thing, and it's not me trying to skirt code or anything like that. That is not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm literally telling them, tell me what I need to do to get it to code, and we will do those things.
And
whatever you need.
Once they start shifting the numbers like that, it goes from 150 to 100, it's like, what's the actual code? Like, is there an actual code, or are you guys just making up hoops for us to jump through? It is
Exactly.
what it makes you start wondering, you know?
I felt lied to for 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
So like, and then I was getting told by multiple people this was happening to multiple businesses. So I had a phone call with one of the city councilmen, and I said, I don't believe you when you tell me that once this plan is approved, that we're going to be able to open. I don't
Yeah.
believe you. And then so now they are once our plan is approved, which we've done 3 iterations of the plan in the last week. 3.
Yeah. And which one
You
are you
would think
supposed to?
that
Which one's gonna get you open? It's like a choose the fucking
Yeah,
door at that point.
exactly. And so once our plan is approved, the city promised us that they will give us a contract for, promising that we'd be able to open.
And so that's the
Yeah.
latest. That's the latest right now.
The latest right now is that that happened. So after the city council meeting,
Yeah.
which made a lot of noise, the latest is we are still waiting for our plan to be approved, and it needs to happen within the next week or two. Like that's what I was told, is that they're wanting to get this done within the next week or two, probably to avoid any more attention on it.
Yeah.
But now now the building department is talking to the architect a couple times a day. Now we put in another plan on Friday, so we're waiting for that dog. Hold on. Oh, now it's too. Hey. So now we're waiting for. We put in a plan on Friday, so now we're waiting for them to approve that plan. If they approve the plan, which at this point I don't know. If they approve the plan, we'll be able to start the construction, which shouldn't take long at all. The changes that we need to make are not big changes. They're just going to take some work. Thankfully, we have some people who have volunteered to come help out. But if they would have told us that we needed to keep our capacity under 100 from the very beginning, then we would have done that. We would have had the plans we would have made the plan, and we would have done the changes. It would have been like that. They told us all we needed was a door, and you've been there.
Yeah.
We had there's a big empty hole there, and we put a door there. They said that we needed that. Then they told us, oh, that's not the right door. So why didn't you tell us what the door that we needed? And then they told us, oh, actually, it can't be a door. You have to completely drywall it off. So it's just
It keeps
constant
switching it up.
changes.
Yeah. Which is it's not what you want to be seeing, and it's just going on way too long. It's like I said, that's what you were just talking about. End of November. That's when you told me, yeah, maybe or middle of November. You were maybe in a couple of weeks, probably early December. Here we are, mid-January, pretty much now, and still nothing. And we're getting messages. There's 16 Cattle saying they're able to help if needed. I've seen a lot of those messages, so I think there's a lot of hope in that regard. That hopefully, as the community, as the people that have used the heart, including myself. I mean, like I said, we filmed a handful of podcasts there, so it's like anything that you need that we can help on, hopefully we can make it happen.
Yeah, and I really appreciate everybody who wants to help. And as soon as we have this plan approved, because that's not something that as soon as we have this plan approved, we'll post either a video or post something saying, hey, this is what we need to do. If you can help out. And the thing is, I've never been in this for money. I started the heart because the heart needed to be a thing.
Yeah,
that's right. Like that's why I started it. I have a mental health background and I have a sound background. That's it. I never got into this for it to be about me. Matter of fact, Joey had to convince me to start doing the videos. Like all I've ever wanted was for artists to have a space, and I don't even like some of the music that comes with the heart. Like, it's not about me. I literally just wanted to be a place for artists. It's and it's just insane to me that it's taken this long. And they were about to start doing the same thing with the old building.
Yeah.
They had come in and they were like, oh, we don't have schematics for this. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have schematics? But then I was like, oh, you know what? We're leaving anyway. So
who cares? Now
Yeah, and
that's what
then but
baffles me is that you're using a building that was already being in use for something else.
Mhm.
So it's not like you
for
went into some old
for a
vacant
similar
building.
thing.
What was that?
Yeah, it was for we. They did a similar thing.
Yeah,
I was
it's
at a concert under a year before in that same space,
yeah.
and they were guess what? They were selling alcohol.
So it makes no
So
sense that now suddenly there's all these changes that need to be made, you know.
yeah,
So it's just
and when
it's baffling.
yeah, and whether or not it was an oversight or something like that, we come to find out that they did have one of the permits that they were supposed to have. The other permits weren't finished, but they did have one of the permits they were supposed to have. So they knew that that building was being used for what it was being used for. They chose not to check on it until we try to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And and that's fine if it's an oversight, but you better make it as easy as possible for me to correct this issue, and that's not happening
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not going to sit here and be anti-establishment when we're trying to be part of the community, but
Yeah,
you know, you got to make it easier for us to be able
yeah.
to do what we're trying to do. And it's a positive
If
thing, man. That's the thing. Like
yeah,
it's not like you're opening up, I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck you could be opening up that would be bad, but it's something good for the community. Something good, like I said, gets a lot of the kids off the street and gives everybody a place
yeah,
to perform. It's positive stuff, especially when we start thinking about mental health. I mean, I've seen, I think it was Addie that was talking about how she was always so shy and always, you know, there's all this stigma around performing, and now they're all out there. It really is helping, you know, these younger people, especially, and these artists to have a place to perform, to be themselves, and to develop into the artist that they want to be. It's like, how is that
yeah.
a bad thing?
Yeah, and the side that people don't see, and I mentioned this, and because it was a cut down speech that that on the video, I said a lot more. But what one of the things I touched on that people don't see is either the artists or the people who just come to shows who will come and talk to me. I've talked people through, and Steven, my DJ Steven was on here earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but me and him have talked people through suicide attempts. We talked to them through teen pregnancy, abusive situation. We protected. I remember a kid came to the heart early on in the when we were doing the more parties. He came in and he was like, "Hey, these dudes want to beat me up." And I knew the dudes, and so I was like, "Hey man, just come in here. If they come in here, they're not going to do anything. I promise." They came in there. We had a couple looks, and I talked to them for a second, and then they left this dude alone. This is a place that people need, not just for the music of it, but for the mental health of it. They need the community. They need these things instead they're having to be at home every Friday. Like,
Yeah.
it's, and like that's not we created this space for people to express themselves and have a safe space. That's why we do drag shows. That's why we do parties that just for fun.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
even the election party you had. I mean, I was watching the news election
yeah,
night, and oh wow, they're at the heart. That's pretty cool. I was just there,
yeah.
and so it was awesome to see that. When I saw that, I assumed you're getting close to what you need to be. I thought, you know, I mean, to be on the fucking news, I thought you had some backing from the city, from bigger people, but guess not.
And that's the thing. There were some people I didn't call initially because I was like, I'm not, like, this isn't their problem. The city will help me work it out. But a couple people I did end up contacting before. But then once I did the video, some people that I have more connections with, some of the people that were at that election party, gave me a call and we're like, no, this isn't right. Let's deal with this.
Yeah,
And it's not and this is very much not a Democrat and Republican thing. The election party was thrown by Democrats.
yeah,
I got a call from a Republican legislator just a couple days ago, coming up to bat for us.
yeah,
So this is not a divisive issue. This is literally just tell us what we need to do.
and we'll
We
do it.
have the people.
Yeah,
We have the people to help out with this. Like we started the heart with the community in mind, and the community will keep it going
yeah,
if
yeah.
we have the plan.
Sounds like you just need to get those right people in the right position to, you know, just to get it done. And hopefully we're getting a lot closer And I say we, because we as a community, I think, we're, like I said, we're all backing you. We're all, and we all need it. And so hopefully that's.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it means the world to me just because of what I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen bands perform at the Heart and then go on tour. I like those are the things I need to happen in this community because that's what I wanted for myself. Like and so like I need these people to help us put these artists on stage. They
Yeah.
need to be on stage. And if we can't do it there, and I even said I said I'd be the Robin Hood of throwing events if I need to. Like I don't care. I just need these people to have a place
Yeah.
because it's something that's really important to me. I, and like I've made mistakes through owning the Heart, and I don't like if anybody has anything to say about the mistakes I made, sure. Like I'll like I will absolutely take responsibility for any mistakes I've made. The one thing that I've always kept to though, I've always made it artist centered. Always.
Yeah.
So with all the mistakes I've made, that is what I've always kept to. Because I didn't start this out as like, oh, I'm this big businessman walking in and I'm gonna do all these cool things and completely revolutionize the music world. No, I came in and said, hey, y'all want to be on stage? I built a stage.
Build it, and they'll come, man. That's what I've always said about even the podcast. Like, build it, and they'll come. You just got to start
Yeah.
something, and people are going to show up to perform and to do their best. And that is something that I also heard, and that's why I wanted to do this, just because I did hear a couple things, where people were wondering or having very different takes, and I thought as fairly as I could about it because I thought I have my opinions about it because I've been closer to it because I've spoken with you, off the record about this stuff. But that was there was people asking, so is this a business or is this a nonprofit? And I'm thinking it's a business, but I don't think I don't think he's expecting to make a ton of profit. He's really doing this very selflessly. So
Hey, yeah. So we have talked about starting a nonprofit, that's one of the things that has been on the table. And that nonprofit we've talked about it multiple times. It just takes a lot to get it together.
Yeah.
But the nonprofit that we want to start, because I don't have any problem talking about it, the nonprofit that we want to start is a couple things, a fund going to artists that the community chooses for them to record their projects, where we don't own anything of it. They just have the ability to record their projects, and also a music school.
yeah,
We've been wanting to do that, but a music school focused on not just let me teach you piano, but a music school focus on how do we give you all the tools in order to go out in the world and be an artist and make it your life.
yeah,
Because we have Jovi from Jovi's Garden. He started out as a 17-year-old who was in my friend James's studio, and then James said, hey, he wants to learn live sound. So I said, all right, come learn live sound. Now he runs his own studio. Now he records most of the rappers in town. That's what we wanted to do this for. And if I was in this for money, I'd be just booking out quinceañeras every Friday. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've had those offers.
That's where the money's at, but that's not what this is for. Yeah.
Yeah, I had an offer early on when we were starting to get popular, where somebody came in and they're like, I will pay you $150,000 for a part of your business, and but you have to do it like this. And basically, they wanted to turn it into basically an LDS party place, where and only have artists that kind of fit into that mold and everything. And I told them no. And at that time, it was COVID was just starting to like calm down, and I needed that money. But I had to say no to that. Through this, like, anybody who might think that I'm doing it for the money, it's cool if you think so. It's fine. But I lost a marriage based off of this. Almost lost a house based off of this. Almost lost my car based off of this. Multiple friendships and relationships. If I was gonna quit, I was gonna quit 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I literally started losing my hair right there, right here. Started losing my hair. It fell out. I'm growing it back this year because 330 O'Malley decided to call me out on my birthday, talking about hope you get your hair back this year.
So you're like,
now
got
I
a
have to
show.
go.
You have hair. It's just,
Yeah,
you'd have a lot more if they would just let you do your job. So
exactly. It's insane. This has never been about the money for me. Matter
yeah,
of fact, during the height of our growth at the old spot, I was working 6 jobs. Like that's why I had money,
yeah,
and that's how bills were getting paid.
that's
Because it
insane,
took a
man.
while.
That is
Like I
insane.
was working 6 jobs. We were running the studio, and like this is what I this is what I'm passionate about. And I told you on your podcast, if somebody wants to come in and take it over because they could do it better, please
Be
come
my
in and
fucking
take it
guest.
over.
Yep.
Like, please, if you can do it better and you can serve the community better, go ahead. And if I need to start a nonprofit if I need to start a nonprofit sooner rather than later, then cool. But I have people waiting for us to succeed. I have there's a possible investor involved, but he wants us to get started at the new spot, and then he wants to invest in the space. He wants to invest in the nonprofit side of it, the music school. So it's like I'm struggling over here. I gotta deal with the landlord at the heart. I gotta deal with the landlord at my house, and you know what? They're at the end of their ropes too.
Yeah, I can imagine. A couple months.
Yeah, it like I so what this whole process has done has not just like messed things up for me personally. It's messed up a whole business.
It's that ripple effect.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it affects literally everybody. How many artists could have been performing on stage in the last since November 9th when we had to shut down? How many artists? like the opportunities are so important to the community, and I've seen people's lives change based off of it. So like I don't stop because I've seen too
You've
much.
seen the value of it, and you know it's going to be worth it. So
Yeah. And the oh my gosh, the great connections that I've garnered based off of this, off of people who before just were chilling in their basement, just being great musicians on their own, and then they come up at the heart. We're like, wait, hold on a second, you're allowed to be this good?
yeah,
like,
you're
like,
from Idaho Falls. You're from around here. You're like, holy shit, you know?
yeah. You seen our board, the heart logo, and it's covered in signatures.
Yeah,
That's because people are here, and people want a tour from other places to come to Idaho Falls and and link up with the artists here, and
yeah.
that's happening.
It's such a strong scene right now, and you're a big part of why it is as strong as it is. And so,
And honestly, I really didn't see it as strong as it apparently is until we posted that video, and then we got, in my opinion, one of like the crazy amount of support. And when that happened, I was like, oh man, like I guess I was right for not quitting because
yeah,
because
because all of these
this,
people, all these artists, everybody. I mean, me included.
yeah.
Like I said, I mean, you've been kind enough to let us use the spot to record, and I know once it gets going, that's something we can continue to hopefully work together on stuff like that. So,
Absolutely. Well, you've been in the sensory shelter.
yep,
If that ain't a community thing, I don't know what is, man.
exactly, yeah.
Like
That's
like
that's thinking of everybody that wants to come to a show.
yeah, so we're not trying to make this crazy party space. We're trying to make a space for people. We want the sensory shelter so people who are neurodivergent or just need a second just to be able to be in there and calm themselves, have a space for that. We're planning when we have alcohol to have 2 wristbands. The wristbands available. We're trying to figure out how to do it, but we're wanting a wristband that signifies, hey, do not give me a drink because I'm in recovery, or
Okay.
I'm sober, I'm straight edge, and we want to have those things so when people come to even the shows that have alcohol, they can feel comfortable that they're not gonna mess up their lives because that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here to lift people up, and that's what we're always do. That's the reason why I had to leave some of the churches I was involved in before because they weren't treating people right. And I saw that, and the more that I heard about love, the less I saw it.
Yeah. That's where you
And
that's where you have to cut it off. Yeah, for sure.
And so that's why the heart is what the heart is. That's why we have the sensory shelter. That's why we try to put artists on. That's why we pay the artists 40% of what comes in. Like that. That's the reason why we do that. It's because I never wanted an artist to be performing at the Heart over and over again because they had money to buy tickets and then sell them.
Yeah,
I never
no,
want that. But that's what happens at a lot of places all over the country. That's what happens.
that's the way it's
And
structured for the most part. Yeah,
yeah, local artists who have a little bit of money can buy tickets, and then they just give the tickets to their friends, and then now they have a whole crowd. They get to perform. They get to perform with the touring act. We're not doing that. We're literally saying, hey, I don't care who you are. Get up on stage, give us what you got, and we're gonna pay you what we can.
yeah.
And it's based off of who you bring. So if you do some promotion, awesome. If you get people in, awesome.
Then it's
You get
you.
that
Then
too.
you're gonna sow what you reap in that at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like, you think I make any money doing these videos? like all the videos I make, I don't get nothing from that. When I went out to Venue 101. I've been we've been to the gym, been to 18, went to Smoking Fins, been to AJ's. We've done videos for these places. For IBC, 2 doors down for us. I don't make nothing doing that. I did that because I was tired of not being able to support local music.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like like we need local music, and local music is like local music for me at least is actually the backbone.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah, that's what I've always thought about it, and let's kind of end on that too. That just the next big way to support you guys, you are throwing a show on the what is it? What date is it?
the 25th, we're doing a party. It'll be karaoke and party. Our main DJ Stephen Wonder and DJ Dizzy will be there, and that's just we're just gonna have a good time.
January 25th. Where is that? At AJ's?
Yeah, the AJ's.
It's
Yeah,
at AJ's bar, and it's it's what donation driven, right? So anybody can donate
do-
what they feel
yeah,
like donating. That gets you into the
yeah,
party.
whatever you feel like. If you got 25 cents in your pocket, drop 25 cents and you're cool. If you got $25, drop 25. And it's kind of an anniversary show also
Yeah,
because when we got the first space, I signed the lease March 3rd of 2020, and then everything shut down March 17th.
yeah. Right on the COVID shit. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man! I risked everything just to keep it open through
yeah,
2020, and then I don't know why we did this, but we took over the basement in Rexburg for a while, and we did that because they were like, "Hey, we need help," and I was like, "All right, well, I guess we'll help as much as we can." We ran that for as long as we could. I've never made a decent profit ever from the Heart, ever,
yeah.
ever.
And it's time. I think it's time. Hopefully that changes. And but yeah,
I don't I plan on having my basic bills paid,
yeah.
and then build back the community, build
And
up
that's
the
where I'm
Heart.
getting at. I don't think you're gonna get rich off of this ever, but hopefully you can make enough money to live off of it without all these
Yeah.
hoops to jump through. So
Yeah, I plan on putting all the rest of the money into the staff who work there, and into the equipment, making the better shows, better marketing,
hell yeah,
doing all those things. And guess what? If somebody's going to come in to the Heart one day, and they're going to talk to me, and they're going to be the coolest person I've ever met. They're going to have a similar passion as me, and at that point, I'm going to be like, "Hey, you want to take this? Like,
take it and
you,
run
you
because
want
I
to take this?"
got a jet. Yeah,
No, I got things to do. I'm trying to perform. So
hell yeah,
like, you want to take this over, like, and like that, and that's what this is about. It's never been about just me starting this business and doing really well. It's always been about how can we make this a community space. I want to see more people. I want to see people on stage. I want to see people. Have you seen, like, Oblivion will put up posters literally all around town?
yep.
That
They
gets
got a
me.
good street
That
team.
gets me. Yeah, that gets me so hyped because I'm like, hey, look at that. Look, like, hey, this is my favorite thing because they are expressing themselves, and they are telling everybody, hey, we're here, and we're out here. I don't care. Actually, we're planning on giving away more tickets we're going to be giving away a bunch of tickets once we open again,
Hell yeah.
just to get people to see these artists more.
Hell yeah.
We're planning on getting more sponsors so that we can literally just give people tickets.
That's awesome. And get the people in, get the people hooked on this, get the people hooked on the local bands. Find a favorite band of yours that's local, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I didn't think that I would find favorite bands because I love jazz music. I love rap and reggae. I was like, man, I ain't gonna find nothing out here. Then Altered Edge came in and killed it, and I was like, all right, well, that's not my normal sound, but I'm all about them. Voice of Treason back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'm maybe like 3-4 heavy metal songs before I started the Heart. But then we have to have the heavy metal like 60 times a month because there's so many heavy metal bands out there that now I love heavy metal. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, this is cool. Now don't get it twisted. When I'm sitting doing tickets and stuff, if that's where I end up being, and I'm tired of listening to the band. That's a real feeling. I've been here since 4:00.
Listening
I've
to
heard
this.
these bands.
Yeah,
I've heard these bands sound check. This is a labor of love for me. Like this is straight from my heart to everybody else. And like I want to just do cool stuff. I just I want to see cool stuff happen in town. I don't want anybody else trapped in their house, not having a community, contemplating self-harm, contemplating whatever they're contemplating when they don't have community. Because we've all been there where we're sitting there like, man, does anybody really care about me?
Yep.
We've all been.
Like, what is there to do?
The heart is the place that people. The heart is the place that people care.
Yep. Which is the perfect name for a place like that. The Heart,
Yeah. Well, so originally it was Servant's Heart.
Yeah.
That was our original name, and the reason being is because that's just who we were. And our tagline was entertainment and opportunity with the servant's heart. And so that's what tagline. But then people kept on saying, "What is the servant heart?" And I'm like, "All right, man,
let's just count.
Yeah, but we used to call it the Heart from the beginning. We actually called it the Heart internally, and then we're like, you know what? Let's just go to the Heart.
Let's just go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had the logo created by Naomi, who created our logo, and the Heart logo.
Yep.
And if you notice, like the heart goes around the word art.
Around the word.
Yeah. So that was my idea, and it was completely intentional and not an accident at all that it went around the art. It completely was an accident, actually.
An
artist, Colin, Lesson Unlearned, an artist who performed there a lot. We were at an open mic night, and we kind of debuted the new logo. We're like, check this out, and then he goes, I like how the heart's around the art, and I was like, yeah.
You caught that. Sure. You caught that. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad you saw the deeper meaning. I'm methodical like that. I was literally like, can you have the heart kind of in the middle, I guess? And it just worked out, man. And it's a good tagline when we're looking for a sponsor. So
yeah, that did work out.
Which we have not been sponsor driven at all in the past.
Yeah.
The only other sponsor we had was ITTU sponsoring our artist spotlight for a while during COVID. Mm-hmm. But now we have our first long-term sponsor of the space, and that's the Pearl Health Clinic, who sponsored the sensory shelter and decorated it and everything. And so we are planning on having more sponsors. So if anybody knows any sponsors, then have them hit us up. We'll put the logo up and everything. We'll shout them out, and we'll make sure that it goes right back into the community.
Hell yeah. So that's something else. Let's put that out there. We need, if you want to sponsor something that's really good for the community, hit up Mosy.
Yeah.
I think we'll go ahead and stop right about now, just so we can I'll go ahead and post this as an episode tomorrow, and I'll leave it on my live here, and hopefully we get that first part that was cut off. Luckily the government let us finish, but
we did get the timeline into this one. So
yeah. All right. Yeah. Sounds good, man. Well, thank you for your time, Mosy. It's hopefully we get this going. Can't wait to see you in person. I just didn't want to leave my house, man. It's cold as hell. So I was like, we'll just go live.
Dang.
I was like, we'll just go live. I could go with to you, but nah, fuck that.
Man, you could have came over here. I could have cooked you something. We could have had a great time.
Ah, for
Like,
real.
man,
I've tried not to leave my house when it's this cold, honestly. But
I feel that. I feel that. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for giving a voice to artists and giving them a space to talk. I appreciate that a lot. And seeing Addie Faith and seeing the other artists who have been on your podcast, that means a lot to me because that enhances what we're doing,
yep,
and that gives the artist even more avenues to express themselves, and they get to be a little bit deeper with you as opposed to just here's your 30 minutes on stage, go ahead. And so I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate your other projects too. I've been keeping up as much as I can. So you're doing great things, and you're supporting people just the same as I am.
thank you, man. So and we'll keep supporting each other, and so we'll end it right there, man. I really appreciate you, and we'll talk to you later, man.
Absolutely. Have a great night, man.
Yep, you too.